The letter, from Kayseri to Baghdad, February 1243 inch. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear brother Baba Zaman. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you. It has been a long time since we last met, and I hope my letter finds you in good health and happiness. I have heard about the wonderful lodge you built near Baghdad, where you teach dervishes the wisdom and love of God. I am writing this letter in confidence because there is something heavy on my heart that I wish to share with you. As you know, the late Sultan Aladdin Kikabad was a great and wise ruler. He dreamed of building a city where poets, artists, and philosophers could live in peace. Many people thought it was impossible, especially when the world was full of war and bloodshed. Christians fought Muslims, Muslims fought Muslims, even brothers fought brothers. But the Sultan never gave up. He chose the city of Konya to make his dream real. In that city lives a scholar named Maulana Jalal ad-Din, whom people now call Rumi. I was blessed to meet him long ago. At first, I was his teacher, then his mentor, and later, his student. Yes, my friend, I became the student of my own student. Rumi has a gift that few scholars have, the ability to look deep into the heart of religion and bring out the truth that belongs to everyone, the truth that is eternal. When Rumi was young, he met the great mystic Fariduddin Adder. Adder said, "This boy will open a gate in the heart of love and set fire to the hearts of all mystic lovers." Later, the famous scholar Ibn Arabi saw Rumi walking behind his father and said, "Glory be to God, an ocean is walking behind a lake." Such was his greatness even as a child. At only 24 years old, Rumi became a spiritual leader. Now, 13 years later, the people of Konya see him as a guide and teacher. Every Friday, people travel from far and near to hear him speak. He is learned in law, philosophy, theology, astronomy, history, and even algebra. He already has thousands of followers who believe he will bring great change not only to Islam but to the world itself. To me, Rumi is like a son. I promised his late father that I would always watch over him. But now that I am old and near the end of my days, I want to make sure he finds the right companion for his soul. Though Rumi has everything, family, students, and fame, he still feels a deep emptiness inside. He once told me that something was missing from his heart. I told him, "You are full of knowledge, but your soul has not yet burned with love." He asked me how that could happen, and I told him he needed a true companion, a mirror of his soul. As the Holy Quran says, believers are each other's mirrors. Without such a companion, a person cannot truly see the reflection of God's presence within. Before I left Konya, Rumi shared a strange dream with me. He said he was walking through a big, crowded city far away. He saw words in Arabic, sunsets glowing beautifully, and silkworms hiding in cocoons. Then he found himself sitting beside a well in his courtyard, holding a lantern and weeping. He asked me what it meant, but at that time, I had no answer. Later, I received a silk scarf as a gift, and suddenly everything became clear. I remembered your love for silk and silkworms and the stories I heard about your dervish lodge. Then I understood, the place Rumi saw in his dream was your lodge in Baghdad. Perhaps, my dear brother, Rumi's true companion lives under your roof. I don't know if this person really exists, but if he does, I ask you to tell him about the destiny waiting for him. If you and I can help two rivers meet and flow together in the ocean of divine love, we will be truly blessed. But I must warn you, my brother, this meeting will not be easy. Rumi is famous and deeply loved, yet also criticized by some. His friendship with his companion could cause jealousy and anger. The person who is loved by such a great man will surely face danger. He might not even survive the journey. So before you decide to reveal this letter to that person, I ask you to think carefully. Still, as we both know, God never gives us a burden we cannot carry. I trust that you will take the right steps at the right time. May the light of faith always shine upon you and your dervishes. Master Syed Buran. Shams, Baghdad, December 1243. Beyond the snowy roads and hanging icicles, a messenger arrived from Kayseri. The dervishes were surprised, because no one usually came during the harsh winter. A messenger brave enough to travel through snowstorms could only mean one of two things: either something terrible had happened, or something very important was about to happen. Everyone in the lodge was curious about the letter he brought. But the master, Baba Zaman, kept silent. For many days, his face showed deep thought and struggle, as if he was torn between two choices. I felt strongly that the letter was about me, though I did not know why. Every night I prayed for guidance, and one of God's names came to my heart, Al-Jabbar, the one who controls all things. Then, one cold day, the copper bell rang, calling us for a meeting. We all sat in a big circle around Baba Zaman. His face looked pale and tired, but his voice was steady. He said, "This letter has reminded me of something important. There lives a great scholar in a faraway city. He knows everything about religion but little about love. Someone from our lodge must go to him and be his companion." My heart beat fast. I remembered one of our sacred rules: loneliness and solitude are not the same. In solitude, you are alone but not empty. Still, every soul needs a mirror, a person through whom you can see yourself and God. Then Baba Zaman asked if anyone would volunteer for the journey. He warned that it would be long and dangerous, and there was no promise of return. At first, 9 dervishes raised their hands. But when they heard about the risks, every hand went down, except mine. I was ready. "Shams of Tabriz," the master said, "you are not a full member of this order. You are our guest." I replied, "That should not matter, master." But he ended the meeting, saying, "When spring comes, we will talk again." My heart sank. This journey was the very reason I had come to Baghdad, and now I had to wait. Winter was long and cold. I spoke to no one and walked alone every day, waiting for a sign of spring. Then one morning, I saw a small purple flower pushing through the snow. My heart lifted with joy. I smiled and shouted to a young dervish, "Smile, boy. Don't you see? Spring is here." When the snow melted and the trees bloomed, the copper bell rang again. Baba Zaman spoke about the same scholar, still without saying his name. Again, I volunteered, and again, no one else did. But the master said, "We will wait until autumn." I was disappointed, but I remembered another rule: patience is not to wait silently, it is to trust the process of time. Look at the thorn and see the rose. Look at the night and see the dawn. Finally, in autumn, the bell rang once more. This time, the master looked frail but sure. He said, "Shams, you are the one chosen for this journey. Tomorrow, you will leave, inshallah." My heart filled with peace. I kissed his hand, and he smiled at me like a father sending his son to his destiny. Then he handed me a sealed letter and quietly left the room. When I opened it, I saw 2 words, Konya and Rumi. I whispered his name slowly, R-U-M-I. The sound melted on my tongue like sweet honey. I knew at that moment that my journey had truly begun.